This week for the mini guitar lesson, I thought we would start diving a little bit into some of the practical application of chords that we've covered over the past several episodes. We've covered our major chords, our minor chords. We've covered major seventh chords. We've covered straight seventh chords or diminished seventh chord, depending on how you want to label it. We've covered major minor sevenths, and we've also covered minor seventh chords as well. So today I thought we'd take a step into looking at how these chords apply, how they work together, and how the chords work in certain keys, and how you can use those to build chord progressions. So we're going to stay in the major realm, the major scale realm today, just for ease of explanation's sake. And we're going to take a look starting out at C major, because C major is our basic key, meaning that it is just a straight key. There are no sharp or flat notes and or chords in it. So what that means is C, with C major, the C major scale, the notes you have are C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and C. Let me turn it up just a little where y'all can hear that better, hopefully. Let's see. So once again, the major scale for C, notes are C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. So we're sticking with that one for the purpose of ease of use, like I said. So how chords work out. There's a pattern that you can remember that helps you with major scale and with the major keys of chords. What that is major, minor, minor, major, major, minor, and diminished. So what does that mean? Think of each one of those labels, they attach to the chord that you're playing. So your first chord, obviously your root is C. It's a C major chord, which is played, we've covered in the past, like this. So then, our next chord would be a D. That would be represented as Roman numeral, lowercase Roman numeral 2. And it is a minor chord, because notice we said it's major, minor are our first two chords. So that would be a D minor, this guy. Our next chord would be an E. And in this case, it is also an E minor. Chord number 3, represented by a lowercase Roman numeral 3, is E minor. Our next chord, represented by uppercase Roman numeral number 4, because it is a major, remember our pattern, major, minor, minor, major for our 4. So uppercase Roman numeral 4, big I, big V, is an F major, which would be this guy, and I'm going to play it as a bar chord, so it's very full sounding. Our next chord then is going to be our 5th, chord number 5. Remember our pattern, major, minor, minor, major, major. And remember our notes, we're starting on C, so C, D, E, F, and our 5 is G. So what that means is our 5 chord in the key of C major is a G major chord, this guy. Next, our 6. Remember our pattern, major, minor, minor, major, major, minor for our 6th. And our notes, C, D, E, F, G, A would be our 6th, so that's an A minor is our 6th chord in the key of C major. And the last one's a little tricky, is our 7. Remember our pattern is major, minor, minor, major, major, minor, and diminished. And our notes, starting with C as our root, C, D, E, F, G, A, and B. So that means that our 7th chord in the key of C major is a B. And remember that pattern, major, minor, minor, major, major, minor, diminished. It's a B diminished. So that chord is going to look like this. So, B diminished, 7 chord. A minor, 6 chord. G major, 5 chord. F major, 4 chord. E minor, 3 chord. D minor, 2 chord. And C major are 1 chord. So there you go, there are the chords in the key of C major. C, D minor, E minor, F, G, A minor, and this one's always a little tricky for me because I don't play diminished chords a lot, but B diminished. Or you could do it And then back to C, octave for our root chord again. So now progressions, how do this apply to progressions? Well, chord progressions are exactly what they sound like, ways that you progress from one chord to another. So we'll talk about a couple of common ones that you see and you hear in popular music and rock music, blues music, and that sort of thing. But feel free to experiment with different progressions and different chords. Now that you know your chords in your scale, major, minor, minor, major, major, minor, diminished, you know your chord numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And the key of C, you know your chords. C is your root and your 1 chord, and that's a C major. D minor is your minor 2nd chord, or your 2. E minor is your minor 3 chord, or your 3. F major is your major 4 chord, or your 4. G major is your major 5 chord, or your 5. A minor is your minor 6 chord, or your 6. And B diminished is your diminished 7th chord, or your 7. So now that you know that, you can start putting chords together into different patterns to make chord progressions. A very common one that we hear very, very, very commonly is a 1-4-5 chord progression. And 1-4-5 is something that you hear very, very frequently in blues. So let's take a look at that. In the blues, you'd have let's say in this case, let's go with, let's stay in C. So if we had a C major chord, we have, then go to our 4, then our 5. Now that doesn't sound real bluesy, but what if we play it as root 5 power chords and we start alternating our 5th a little bit? This is gonna sound very, very blues-ish. If we do something like this. So there you go, 1-4-5, a very, very common chord progression, and like I said, in blues and in rock music. 1, 4, 5, and you can do that in any key. So in G, you'd have 1, 4, B minor, and B flat minor, pardon me, and 5, C. So 1-4-5. Now another common progression is going to be 1-4-1-5. You hear this a lot in rock ballads, and in the 80s this was a prolific, very, very, very almost beaten into the ground chord progression. And it would often be in the key of G. So you'd hear something like this. It'd be like, so alternating back 4th to 1-4 and then 5. So, yeah, 1-4-1-5. And you can, once again, you can put that into any chord shape. You could do that as a C, 1. Wanting to stay in key, you need to remember not only your notes you're playing, not only are you playing a C, an F, and a G, but your 4 chord is major and your 5 chord is major, and of course your root is major since we're staying in the major scale today. So C major 1, F major 4, C major 1, G major 5. All right, so there you go. Chords in different keys, and chord progressions. Hopefully that's helpful for you. And make sure to explore these. Just because I showed you a couple real basic ones in C and in G, doesn't mean you have to stay there. Try different keys. Start maybe in B flat, or start maybe in F sharp or something like that. Also play around with some of the chords that we talked about in the past to give it some different chord voicings, meaning that you don't have to stick with strictly major, minor, and diminished chords. You can, if you want to add a little more interesting tonality, you could add a major 7 in there, or you could do a minor 7 chord or something like that. So all kinds of worlds of possibilities of tones and sounds that you can get from the variety of different chords, chord progressions, and chord shapes.